Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Dr. Michelle White with If Your Meds Could Talk. Well, today I'm going to talk about another vital organ of our body. It's the heart. The heart. Oh, the heart. So today we're going to talk about the heart and just simply go over some things about the heart so that you'll know when we start talking about how the med's going to talk to your heart, you'll be understanding how the heart functions. So the heart is about the size of your fist. So everybody put your fist together, make a fist. And you won't believe the things that this very important organ can do. Prepare to be amazed by these cool heart facts. So first, let's take a look at how this little bit of dynamite that comes in a small package works. The heart is like a big pump made of muscles. Remember that, muscles, muscles, muscles. And it constantly pumps blood throughout our bodies every minute of every day. These movements are called involuntary. Remember involuntary? Which means you don't actually have to think about making your heart beat. Your brain does the work for you and passes on the messages. So everyone thinks that the heart is on the left side of your chest. Well, it's not. Whoever made that up has fooled people for years. Maybe it was trickier. Maybe it was a trickster trying to trick us. It actually is the right. It's actually right in the middle of your chest, between your two lungs. It is protected by your ribs. At least we know it is. It's in a safe spot, okay? The heart has 4 chambers: the left and right atrium, and the left and right ventricles. Interestingly, the atrium is the Latin word for the entrance hall, and the ventricle is the Latin word for little belly. Did y'all know that? I didn't. So there's a little belly inside our hearts. Interesting. Very interesting. There are also 4 valves in the heart, and these are there to make sure that the blood goes one way, in or out. Imagine the chaos it would cause if the blood was going in and out all at the same time. Can you imagine? That would be chaotic. And sometimes that happens, y'all. That really happens, and you need a new heart at that point. So how does the blood get around our bodies? Well, it leaves the heart. It gets taken on a journey through your arteries. Have you heard of the aorta and the pulmonary artery? Well, they are super important for making sure our blood gets in the right place at the right time. It's like a well-timed train. But what about when the blood needs to go back to the heart? Okay, where here it is carried through the veins. And if you look at your wrist, you probably will be able to see veins, which look blue from the outside. Then there's blood that comes from the lungs into the left atrium. This is transported nicely through the pulmonary veins, while blood that comes from around the body goes flowing in through the superior vena cava or vena cava, and this carries blood from your upper body. And the inferior vena cava, this carries the blood from your lower body. Get it? So you have blood coming from the body that flows through the superior vena cava, that comes from your upper body, and then inferior vena cava that comes from the lower body. You must have felt your heart beating. Well, that's actually works from electricity. You must have felt your heart beating. It actually comes from electricity. Yes, really, electricity. Your heart contracts, tightens up, and this makes all the chambers smaller and pushes blood back into the blood vessels. So that's how it's done. Isn't that interesting? When your heart relaxes again, it says, let's relax. The chambers get bigger and the blood comes back into your heart. Sounds pretty complex, right? Okay, so how much does the heart weigh? The heart weighs between 7 and 15 ounces, about 200 to 425 grams, which is about the same size of a bottle of ketchup. Okay? Pick up a bottle of ketchup and you'll be able to feel how much your heart actually weighs. You all are probably saying, what size ketchup? You know, we have different bottles now, but probably your average size of your ketchup bottle. Okay. So how much blood does it pump per day? Now, this is quite unbelievable. The average adult heart beats 72 times a minute. That's what we've been told. 100,000 times a day and 3,600 times a year. Let's do that again. The average adult heart beats around about 72 times a minute, 100,000 times a day, and 3,600 times a year. That's not right. It got to be more than that. Probably 3.6 billion times a year. Okay. During a person's lifetime, their heart could beat more than 3.5 billion. Yes, 3.5 billion times. Okay. I'm going to have to do that again. It is quite unbelievable. The average adult heart beats about 72 times a minute, 100,000 times a day, and 3,600 times a year. During a person's life, their heart could beat more than 3.5 billion. Yes, 3.5 billion times a year. That in a lifetime, I can understand that. But that other one a year, I'm going to have to look up that. All right. So the amazing bit of body machinery pumps about 100 gallons, 380 liters of blood through your body every single hour, which is about 2,400 gallons, 9,000 liters per day. Our heart works pretty hard, y'all. That's about the same as 1,600 glasses of water per hour. Oh, and I'm trying to drink 10 glasses of water a day per hour. Wow. And 38,400 glasses of water per day. Can y'all imagine? We certainly wouldn't be able to drink that much water. Not at all. But our heart does. Now let's work that out over a lifetime. It pumps about 1 million barrels of blood during an average lifetime, which would fill 3 super tankers. Getting the idea of how hard this little part of our body works. Now, let's look at it another way. Turn on your kitchen faucet all the way for 45 years, and that is the same amount of blood that's pumped through your heart in a lifetime. Okay, don't turn on the faucet. Your parents won't. Your people right now, especially during the coronavirus, I know my dad used to say, turn off that water, especially when you're taking a shower. He's like, you're wasting water, so we can't waste the water, okay? So you know when you hear the sound of your heartbeat, it's like kind of a lub-dub sound. Well, that's from your 4 heart valves closing. What a cool thing to know. Your heart does the most physical work out of any other muscle in the body. Really? You say that. All righty. All of your blood vessels, which includes your arteries, your veins, and your capillaries, are over 60,000 miles long, about 97,000 kilometers or kilometers. If we had to stretch them all out, it would go all around the world twice. Y'all saying no way, but it does. How they fit in our body, only God knows. This is interesting that during the heartbeat, the heart creates pressure, okay? Now, the amount of pressure that the heart creates could be able to make your blood squirt a distance of about 30 feet, which is about 9 meters. So in 1967, this is a little history, Dr. Christopher Barnard did the first ever successful heart transplant in Cape Cod, South Africa. It was a wonder of a medicine, and that's why today, a lot of people today who heart give out, or babies who have congenital heart disease, they're able to get brand new hearts as a result of Dr. Barnard. All right, so we need to keep our heart healthy. We need to get out there and exercise at least 30 minutes a day of cardiovascular exercise most days of the week. So since we're on this quarantine, shelter in place, I've noticed that if I do some electric slide, or what we call slide dances or line dances, I can work up my cardiovascular. That's good exercise. After I've done the wobble wobble, after I've done the Cupid shuffle or the cha-cha slide, shoot, well, man, I'm like, wow, my heart rate is up, I'm sweating, and I'm good to go. All right. So, one last thing. What is the connection between the heart and love? Ah, why is the heart always associated with love? Well, there are different theories. The Greeks believed the heart was the seat of the spirit. The Chinese associated it with the center for happiness. And the Egyptians thought that the emotions and intellect arose from the heart. Then Plato came along and believed that we reason through our brains, but that love comes from our heart. Early Egyptians believed that the heart and other organs moved around inside our bodies. Imagine that. Ooh, that's so crazy, but that's what they believed. Imagine that. We'd never be able to sit still if that was the case. So, just a little information for you to think about, okay? So, how does the heart pump blood into the body? The heart pumps blood to almost all of the 75 trillion cells in our bodies. That's very important. The only part of our body that doesn't get blood is the corneas in our eyes. 75 trillion cells, no way. This is very interesting, a very fast action too. When your body is at rest, it takes 6 seconds for the blood to go from your heart to your lungs and back again. 8 seconds for it to go to your brain and back, and 16 seconds for it to go all the way down to your toes and back. Did y'all hear that? Well, I'm going to repeat that. Yep, I think that's worth repeating. Your brain, your heart, when it's at rest, it takes 6 seconds for the blood to go from the heart to your lungs and back again. 8 seconds for it to go to your brain and back, and 16 seconds for it to go all the way down to your toes and back. Your heart creates enough energy every single day to drive a truck for 20 miles, 32 kilometers. So if you're 10, you would have been able to drive a truck for 73,000 miles, about 118,000 kilometers. Who knows where you'd be now? But you'd be able to go to the moon and back. Okay. All righty. So let's see, what else do we need to know? Here's some more history. This is grim. In 1929, German surgeon Werner Farsman examined the inside of his own heart. He threaded a catheter into his arm vein and pushed it 20 inches into his heart. But some good did come out of this, as he actually invented something called the cardiac catheterization, which doctors now use all the time. I'm imagining he might not have survived, but he may have. Have to look that up. All right, so men and women's heart beat differently. I didn't know that. A woman's heartbeat is faster than a man's at 78 beats per minute. What? And a man's beats at 70 beats per minute. I never knew that. Did y'all? Do you know what an electrocardiograph is? Well, it measures the electric current in the heart and helps doctors to know what's happening in this amazing organ. It was invented in 1903. If you want to feel how fast your heart is beating, put your finger on the side of your wrist or your throat. This is your pulse. Get the stopwatch out. Come on, y'all. Or get your phone out or the app that has a stopwatch on it and see how many times it beats. It should beat around 75 to 100 per minute. Okay? So let's go check it out. Now, when you're running around, if you're excited, have you noticed that your heart beats faster? Well, that's because your heart needs to work even harder than normal to keep your blood to your muscles so they'll be in tip-top shape. So, we see that the heart works hard, but we also see that you're resting. Even when you're resting, your heart is still working at an unbelievable pace, twice as hard as the leg muscles of someone that is sprinting. The aorta is almost as thick as a garden hose. On the flip side, your capillaries are so small that it would take 10 of them to be as thick as a piece of your hair. 10. Your capillaries are so small that it would take 10 of them to be as thick as a piece of your hair. This fist-sized piece of our body, your heart, is truly, truly amazing. It is a little bit of machinery. And on the places we can go with it, even to the moon and back. So that's it about the heart. Forgive me for my dubs and the loves. But anyway, we've completed the heart, and we're going on to the circulatory system next. So I hope you enjoyed what you heard about the heart. That's just a snippet. And like I said, we're going to talk about how the medications talk to your heart. So I hope you'll subscribe to me. Be so kind to give me a rating. And we'll see you on the next time. This is Dr. Michelle White with If Your Meds Could Talk. Bye-bye.